Hey, Living Stones Church. This is Pastor Kirk with a weekly update for you. Haven't been in the podcast studio very much lately because I've been in Romania and then just been busy getting ready for Church in the Park. And Josh also is not available, so I don't have my podcast partner today. But I wanted to come to you guys with a weekly update just to give a little information, some updates. And to start with, I just wanted to say thanks to the Lord and thank you to everybody from New City Church and Cole Community Church that now is part of Living Stones Church. The reason I want to say thank you is because I was reading this morning in Psalm 136, and the refrain in Psalm 136 is praising God because his steadfast love endures forever. And I was just thinking about the faithfulness of God and the faithfulness of you, his people, that in this soft launch period over the summer since June 8th, when we got together as a church, you've been faithful. And many of you have been faithful for many years before that to this church community and to now a new church community that has merged these two churches together and has become Living Stones Church. And so thank you for being patient, for being gracious, for being a people that see the faithfulness of God in what he's doing right now, and also want to be faithful to the work of God and to the church that he's made you be a part of. And so thank you for that. And I'm fresh off of our elders retreat. I don't know if we really kind of publicized that, but we were able to get away for 3 days up in Cascade last week, and it was an amazing time. We thought it would be kind of a critical time for our elder team, now one elder team, to get together, spend some time together. And I think we entered into that just to, I love to be transparent and open about everything. I think we entered into that, you're really needing some time together. We hadn't had an extended time. We've been working hard. We've been pursuing what God has called us to. We've been getting to know each other as well, but it really did feel like there was just a sense of tangible unity. And all of our discussions, we came to very unified kind of conclusions of where we're at as a leadership team. And so that was very encouraging. We spent some time telling each other our stories, getting to know each other better, and then just really the bulk of our retreat was talking about how can we shepherd well? How can we God has given us a stewardship as pastors, whether it's lay pastors or staff pastors like myself and Josh. He's given us this stewardship, and he has called us to be shepherds. And so we've been talking about where we've done well and where we've maybe missed some things in the midst of all the work that's been taking place. And so I just wanted to say once again, thank you for being faithful, and you have shepherds who want to be faithful to you for the glory of God, that we want to shepherd. That was all of our conversations. We kind of all are united in doubling down that we want to do that through our Sunday gatherings, through our gospel communities where everybody is involved in a community, so we know the needs, so we know they're connected to a trained leader that is connected to us as pastors. And all of us as elders are in gospel communities, leading those communities so we can be amongst the flock and shepherding the flock. And so just wanted to say, like, we're praying, we're thinking about strategies and asking God to lead us where we can grow as shepherds and be the kind of shepherds that will take care of the flock of God, and also be able to handle it when God brings new people, new sheep into the flock, so to speak. And so I just wanted to say there are some ways that we thought about just to remind you that you can get to know your shepherds. And it's important that we're saying that in the plural, that I am the lead pastor, but we are all pastors. The lay pastors, that's Jim, Josh, Mike, and Mitch, and Heath. And then the staff pastors, myself, Josh, and Heath part-time as well. And so all of us are pastors together. We're all shepherds. As a lead pastor, I know for some of you that have just joined this church, and even those that were part of Cole, where I was revitalizing and helping to lead that, it's a process of building relationship. It takes time. And so if I haven't got to know you, I certainly do want to. But if you know one of the pastors, that's a good step. That's a good start. So here's some things that we want to do. First of all, remind you, we have once a month coffee with the pastors. I'm usually there. Josh is usually there. Other pastors are there as well. And that's a time, just to be clear, it's not just for people new to the church, though it is. It's also for people, if you haven't got to know some of your pastors, just come to that coffee with the pastors after our gathering and get to know us and ask any questions you have. We really do want that time to be open to a variety of people. So, and then in addition to that, we talked about one of the things I did when I came over to Cole Community was I put a Calendly link out there for people where they could just schedule a time to get coffee or a lunch with me. And sometimes that included my wife. If it was couples, sometimes it was just me. And so I would love to do that again, because I do want people who maybe came over from New City to have an opportunity. And honestly, that just helps me schedule with all the new people I've been getting to know. I just need help. I'm not the perfect pastor or the perfect scheduler. And so that link helps me. If you will go on that link, we'll get that set up in the next couple weeks, and you'll be able to go on that link and schedule a time where we can get together and have a coffee or lunch or something. That'd be great. And I think that other pastors, whether that's Josh or Mitch even, have expressed interest in doing that as well. So watch for that coming out. Another thing is, I'm just going to throw this out there. Some people don't think it's wise. I do it anyway. I just give everyone my cell phone number. So if you want to call me or text me, my phone number is 208-809-6564. So again, that's 208-809-6564. If you want to call me or text me, again, I'll be setting up meetings. I'll be setting up time to get together with people. I love to get together with people. So I do want to get to know not only people who came over from New City, people I haven't got to know yet really from the Cole side, and we have kind of a third category of people now in our congregation. We do have quite a few people who have shown up since the merge, the soft launch. And so we're trying to get to know those folks as well. And so your pastors love you. Your pastors want to shepherd you. Your pastors want to know the flock that God has given us. And so please do take advantage of all those ways as you see them come up. And personally, I would love to receive a text from you if I don't know you, and then I'd love to grab a coffee with you. So those are ways that we want to shepherd. We want to shepherd in gospel communities, we want to shepherd in one-on-ones, we want to shepherd through the Word and our time on Sunday. And then in addition to extra meetings and things like that. So, okay, with all that said, that is our main heart coming out of the retreat. We're united. We have our philosophy of ministry, both that we were already committed to and that Living Stones as a network agrees with. And so we're excited. And here's the upcoming events then that I want to make you aware of. The biggest one, first of all, is September 7th. It's our launch Sunday. So if you didn't know, it could feel a little anticlimactic because we've already started on Sundays, but actually we're going to make a special effort to make that Sunday special. We're going to have a barbecue party afterwards. So if you have a last name that is A through M, please bring a side dish. If you have a last name that begins with L to Z, please bring some dessert type stuff. And the church is going to provide some pulled pork and some burgers and some hot dogs, things like that. And we're just going to have a party. We'll have a bounce house for the kids in the back. And there'll be a little Living Stone swag at the front for new people or for all of us as well. So you'll see that on the 7th of September. And I just wanted to say, invite some friends. That's a Sunday where we really, we don't want to manufacture anything at all, but we do want to say, we want to celebrate the grace of God. We want to celebrate what God's doing. We are seeing God doing special things. We just had 3 baptisms from our church and 7 baptisms overall that we were able to do this last Sunday, and that's exciting. So there's good things happening. So launch Sunday, September 7th. The next thing, September 10th, is a special Global Missions Vision Night. I'll talk more about global missions at the end of this video from my trip in Romania, but I'm very excited. September 10th, we're encouraging all of our GCs to come out and everybody in the church. We're inviting people outside the church as well. I have a friend named Kerem who is a indigenous Turkish church planter. I've known him since his early days of planting in Antalya, Turkey, and he was persecuted. He has an amazing story. I would want to invite everyone to come out. So 7 p.m., September 10th, we'll have a Global Missions Vision Night for everybody to come out to. We'll have some snacks, and you guys can come out, hear his story. I think you will see it's inspiring not just to hear his story, but really also instructs us how to live for Christ in our own context. And then he is also, there's a unique opportunity to partner that you'll hear about on that night as well. And so I want to encourage you guys to come out to that. September 7th, our launch, September 10th, the Global Missions Vision Night. And then the next thing would be the next Wednesday is September 17th. That is our Gospel Communities Kickoff Night. So we're planning that. We'll have some food of some kind and some songs that we'll sing together in worship and prayer. And then we will have a time where there's some equipping. And really, this is for all our gospel communities to come out. This won't be in the fireside. This will be in the auditorium so everybody can be a part of it. All our gospel communities, our whole church, come out, sit by area of town, and then if you're new and you haven't yet joined a gospel community, you can find people in your area. You can find a gospel community that's meeting in your area. And really, it's a chance for us to celebrate just the church that God has given us and where we're headed and get to know each other so that we can launch out into our gospel communities for the fall. So that's coming up as well. That's the big thing. And I think that's all the happenings that I want to mention now. There's always, of course, more that's going to happen, but those three things. So again, the launch Sunday, September 7th, the September 10th Global Missions Night with a Turkish church planter that I want you to meet and get to know, and then September 17th, our Gospel Community Kickoff. So those are things coming up, and now I have to at least take a couple minutes here and tell you about my trip to Romania, because it was great. It was amazing in lots of ways. And when you go on a trip like that, I was gone for 2 weeks. It's hard to articulate everything that you're learning and everything that's happening. I went with one person from our church family, 2 people from Calvary Boise, and then 6 people from Cornerstone Church. All together, we went as 2 teams that met up in Bistrița, Romania. And, this was a unique trip in some ways for the team, because we had a fairly new Christian, a guy named Greg, who's 64 years old, yet he's only 3 years old in Christ. And so it was his first mission trip really out of the country. We had a new believer. This was her first mission trip. We had a guy from our church, Aaron, who this was his first mission trip really. And so there were so many dynamics that were wonderful as far as like everybody learning, everybody growing together. We had a lot of fun. And if you didn't know, what we did is we went to this place, Bistrița, Romania, north central Romania. And the primary thing we did there was we went and did put on an English camp for kids from early elementary all the way through high school. And so I think we had about, I want to say 25, 30 kids. And I'll just tell you one story that was very powerful. I mean, we all got to share our testimonies with the kids. We were all teaching English all day, playing games with them, having fun. Here's one thing that happened. And I wanted to share it because this is important to show how God is working in the local church that you're sent from, and also when you're on the mission field. So one day I was checking in with Mindy, my wife, on the phone after the end of the day, and she was telling me that her and a friend at Livingstone's, a gal who is just a prayer warrior named Yvette, they were praying for my trip. And that day, that gal felt led to pray specifically for anyone who was caught in bondage to witchcraft. Well, I mean, I had no idea that's what they were praying for. Well, that very day, I was talking to some of the high school girls who were there, and just out of the blue, one of the girls said, "Hey, what do you think about tarot cards?" And so we launched into this whole conversation about tarot cards, about other forms of like spiritual seeking that they were involved with and that they had questions about. Is that good? Is that bad? And so we just had a wonderful conversation. I was able to give a perspective on maybe what they're looking to find and what Jesus fulfills, and how they could find something better in Jesus. And so that was an amazing discussion. And I loved how, like, here's somebody in our church back in America praying for something, feels led to pray specifically, and then there I am experiencing that on the mission field. And so that's an example. Another couple stories I'll tell you real quick. First of all, 2 years ago, I had been in that city, and in Bistrița, Romania, and I'd met a young guy at a coffee shop, and just went for a coffee, ended up talking to me, spoke English, and ended up, he likes fantasy books. We ended up buying him, the team ended up buying him C.S. Lewis's books, and then he came to church, and then it was asking lots of questions. And then fast forward 2 years, we've stayed in touch by WhatsApp. We've talked a couple times, but he really hasn't really dug into discipleship or anything like that. Well, texted him, said I'm coming back. We ended up grabbing a drink together, myself, the pastor there, and this young guy, Andre. And then he's like, no, we got to share with him more in depth about the gospel. He really was open, and then he ended up coming to the church again on the Sunday. And so I would ask you to pray for that guy. It's clear that God has been, knocking on his door, so to speak. And so pray for Andre. That's one story I just think is beautiful. Like, you start to see when you have long-term partners, how you can go back and check on people, and how you can watch maybe what God is doing and how he is like bringing them one step closer to Jesus. And so that was a privilege. The other thing I want to mention is that if you were a part of New City before, I did then, after that week and after preaching at the church, I got to go over to Timișoara, Romania, which is on like the western side over by Hungary. And our partner there, Vlad, and his wife are in that city planting a church. And honestly, it was such a blessing to get to see where they actually live. I mean, I don't like to support people if you don't know where they live, don't know their context. And so got to go around Timișoara, learn the history of the church better, get to know Vlad, even though I've known him before over in the UK, but just really spend time trying to develop that partnership. And it was great. I got to actually go with him to the new building that they've got, and watched him get to sign the final papers so that they could get the building. That's exciting. So we can be praying for that. They finally have a place that's in a neighborhood where they, much like ours, where they can reach out to that community and start to dig in relationship. And so that's super exciting. And then, so really we want to kind of highlight them more and more, because I would like to take a team back and from our church and visit them. And there's some things that we could partner with them on. So that's exciting. Last thing and last story, just because it's so amazing, I think, that what God does. The last night I was there, I literally just was like wanting to go and, check out this restaurant. I thought, well, if I come back here, I want to find good places to enjoy with my wife. And so there was a Italian place called Voglio right down the street from where I was staying. So I just walked down there, and I went in. It was empty inside. There were a few people on the balcony. And so I just sat in there. There was a soccer game on. I'm like, okay, I'll just check it out. I got some bruschetta. And I was just like talking to the waiter for a few minutes, and turned into like a 5, 10, 15-minute conversation about soccer, about American football. He likes the Philadelphia Eagles. That's my family's team, my dad and others who like them. Anyway, so we start talking and just had a normal conversation. Fast forward like 10 minutes, and he goes out to take care of the people on the balcony. I'm ready to go, and he comes up to me and he just says like, hey, I just want to thank you. As he gives me the check, he said, I want to thank you because I really needed somebody to talk to. And I said, what do you mean? We just talked about football. And so he says, well, my girlfriend broke up with me, and honestly, I was at the place last night where I wanted to end my life. I didn't want to live anymore. And I said, man, like, let's talk. And so by God's grace, I was able to share more about Jesus with him, and I told him I'm going to be praying for him. Got his number for WhatsApp, and so honestly left that time. The next day he texts me and he's like, hey, what advice can you give me? Please pray for me. And then I said, okay, well, here's what I'd say. And here, he's just trying to figure things out. Praying for him. I also asked him if I could connect him to our local friend, Vlad, there in Timișoara. So he said yes. I get on a flight to go over to another city to then fly back to the States. By the time I get off that flight, he's texting me saying, man, your prayers are powerful. Me and my girlfriend are back together. And I said, well, okay. I want you then to give glory to God and start following Jesus. Now, I don't know if he's done that yet, but I will say this. Like, it's just amazing how God moves us around and just uses us for his kingdom and for his purposes. And that's the value, I think, of short-term trips. You get re-inspired to live on mission, And then also, when you have a long-term partner, you have someone to connect people to. And so please pray for Alex as well in Timișoara, that God would be gracious and be drawing him into relationship with Vlad, and that he would be a disciple of Jesus. So there's so many more stories I could tell you, but those were a couple about the Romania trip. I'm very excited, and I would love if some of you would want to go next year. I'm going to be going to Italy and to the Basque Country, and then to Romania on a short-term trip next year. And so I would love for you to have some of these experiences, and then for all of us to grow in relationship and bring that back to Boise together. And so be praying about that. And for now, kind of a long weekly update. I think that was about 20 minutes of me talking, so I apologize if I lost you along the way. But just wanted to give you that kind of like encouragement from the elders retreat, that we want to shepherd, we want to know you, and that's our heart. I wanted to give you the big kind of picture of the upcoming events, and then share a little bit about Romania. So God bless you guys, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of this week, and I will see you for our last sermon in the Sermon on the Plain in Luke chapter 6 this Sunday. Blessings.